made by Aunt Jenny, Sarah's mother. I also remember that Sarah was the most beautiful bride I'd ever seen. She was sitting at a dressing table, and right before we walked down the aisle, she put a beautiful gold locket around my neck. I was so excited about that locket that it was all I could think about. My sister tells me I threw rose petals, but I don't remember that. I also don't remember babying at the wedding at all. Through the years, Sarah and Babe came to Omaha often to see Sarah's mother. Sarah was like a big sister to me, and Babe was this big, funny, friendly man. Sarah is still like a big sister to me, and Babe's still a big, funny, friendly man. I adored them both, and I still do. They're such special people. I don't see them a lot because we live in different cities, but they have been at every important event in my life. They were at my wedding, my children's bar and bat mitzvahs, both my children's weddings. If you can believe this, they even ran into our daughter at Masada in Israel. And they happened to be at our house the day our college graduate son arrived home from 6 weeks in Europe. I think the only thing they weren't at was the recent birth of our granddaughter, and if we'd invited them, I know they would have been there. Sarah and Babe, just a few things that were going on in 1949 when we were married. Harry Truman was president. Harvard Law School began admitting women. Neomycin was invented. NATO came into existence. RCA introduced 45 RPM records. The minimum wage was 70 cents per hour. The average yearly income was $3,000. New car cost $1,400. A new house cost $7,500. A loaf of bread was 14 cents. A gallon of gas was 17 cents. And the Dow Jones average was 179. It's hard to believe that 50 years have gone by. This is where I should say something sentimental, but I can't because it'll make me cry. So I just want to wish you the happiest of anniversaries, happy 50th anniversaries, and many, many more. And I love you.
Making her way to the microphone is my older sister, Karen. Oldest.
That's my standard, yeah. You know, I want a message to give to the young kids today. Is when I was growing up with all my cousins I see here, I want to tell you that I always was like, okay, I'm the third oldest on my parents' side. You know, it was always a big deal. It's really nice to be this age when, Marty, we're all the same age. None of this who's older crap anymore. I wrote something, and my cousin Robin agreed to be a stand-in because I have what is, I don't know if any of you heard the CHO gene. Have you heard that? It says quiet, happy occasion gene. I have a double recessive genetic defect. My Uncle Hirsch let me know that it is my Aunt Malka, that was my grandfather's sister. She cried at everything, birthdays and anniversaries and everything. So on that side I have the Malka gene. And on my mother's side, well, I just have my mother's crying gene. So I'm double recessive genetically defected for reading things out loud. But I will try to at least get through the title here. The title is called Not So Ordinary People. Can't get through the title. See, a celebration of 50 years, and it is by me, but it is illustrated by these wonderful children behind me, Marissa, Brian, Jory, Emily, Jacqueline, Eva. You can wave, you guys. They, all right. You want to hold that for me? Okay. And if you can see it, do you want to help me hold this? Because I can't hold the mic. Jeff, why don't you come up here for a minute? Just hold it for me. If you can see it, Grandma and Grandpa, they illustrated the book with their own illustrations. And you can see how very talented they are in all their work. Marissa took a picture, so you're in here too. But they're all really, everyone can be out here looking at it. And I did ask my wonderfully talented cousin Robin, who has a theater background and doesn't have this genetically recessive defect, that she would read it for me. Can I bring the microphone to you? Will that work? Okay. Girls, you can come with Lily and Cheryl. Come with Mommy. That's okay.
How about bringing the microphone over here?
That's okay. Will it work? Does it work? Okay, good. I think that's a good idea. Just a minute. Thank you. Sure.
Not So Ordinary People, a celebration of 50 years. If you haven't had the pleasure, or even if you have, of meeting these two people, then let me tell the story which promises to overlook somebody and some places, but then 50 years is a long time to talk about briefly. Babe and Sarah would describe themselves as more ordinary than those that know them would. After all, they're just two 70-something people who got married after World War II, raised 3 children, belonged to worthy organizations, and traveled. Pretty ordinary for this part of the world, but not really. And not just because they raised me, their firstborn, but because of the way they live their lives, with a finesse I haven't seen too many others master. When everyone is too busy on their self-created merry-go-rounds, they always make time for you, and do it with a love that seems a fortress, in spite of their often humorous differences. I don't worry about being objective in my rendition of their half-century marriage, because I know that there are hundreds who would agree that they have an amazing capacity for caring for anyone, even remotely on the family tree, or who once lived in the old neighborhood, or for a friend, new or old, never missing a wedding, a bar mitzvah, a funeral, or bris, if they could help it, sending out gifts and cards as if they were an online service, not to impress anybody, but because they simply don't know how not to give. They don't know what it means not to share what they have. They don't know how to say no to their family or to their many long-time friends, not that they would ever think of it anyway, or of letting anyone even try to pay them back. I learned long ago they'd rather be on the giving side than on the receiving. Just try paying for a meal. I wish I'd win the lottery just once to see if they'd let me pay. Probably not. You don't have to go very far or see many people to recognize that these are not ordinary people. Oh, that they were. For the world would be a much better place if everyone cooked like my mother, laughed like my father, and loved like them both. Life is just a better place when 416 Parkview Terrace has its welcome mat open, which is all the time. For any and all who need some medicine, a meal, a party, to watch the game, any game, to have Friday night dinner, to play poker, to have a bridal shower, or to have Passover. To count the number of occasions celebrated there would be an arduous task, but each one formed an indelible memory, laced with warmth and frosted with a hospitality too rare in our workaday worlds. For me, and to many others, that red brick house on the pond has become an oasis, a home away from home where two very extraordinary people live that love me like no others. My small but loyal fan club. Yes, baby. Maybe I'm writing this to prove that I don't take their presence for granted, or just to say in the audible voice of the printed word that I am ever so grateful that in the lottery of life, I was so lucky to be born to the woman from Omaha, daughter of a shoemaker, and the guy from the north side, son of a tailor, who met at a wedding in Sioux City. Born of immigrant parents, they knew what it was like to be without, grew up with the same traditions, the same values, the same struggles of being the first generation of a European family tree to be born here. Maybe those roots made them strong, made them appreciate every gift life had to offer, and turned them into givers, sharing an unwritten creed that at every opportunity one should find the humor in things, to celebrate all occasions with good food, take the time to make everyone around you feel like they are so very special. It's fun to take trips down memory lane, especially while you were making new ones. Remember when you had dogs and lived in Waverly? When Marty's arrival replaced our cat Blackie? When Booby lived with us? When Zadie would bring Hamlet and salami over to the house on Noble? All those fishing trips, our boat on Minnetonka that Mom cleaned while Dad fished and took us water skiing, the countless trips to California and the one in the station wagon to Florida, the building of the house on Parkview, the practical jokes with the Oxmans and your brothers, the birth of each grandchild. The bad times have been few, mostly friends and family passing before their time, and you handled them all with the dignity and grace of people who had known loss from an early age. Now in retirement, we are privileged to have you both as the quintessential artisans, babysitters, computer mavens, and the reincarnation of Babe the Repairman. Never letting a day go by without filling it with some project or helping out someone. The advice of a doctor and his loyal, if unlicensed, partner is always welcome, with free samples, food to take home, and love. Always lots and lots of love. Mazel tov on an amazing 50 years together of two of the most extraordinary people I will ever know. Soak in the love of this unique celebration and keep it near you always. With incredible love and gratitude, Karen.
Thank you.
Yeah, go right and introduce them and go ahead.
Oh, I could have gotten through that, no problem. Mom just said, I don't know why you couldn't read that. Yeah, sure, Mom, thanks a lot. One other thing I wrote for these guys, and for any other seedlings of the family tree that want to join us, just to stand here would be really cool. This generation, of the grandchildren generation, are welcome to come up here. It's just called Seedlings. And all the kids, Marissa, yeah, don't know everybody, Marissa, and Emily, and Brian, and Jacqueline, and Jory, have all agreed that they want to do something that would make their grandparents proud, although they're proud of them just for getting up in the morning, I know that. So I'm gonna help them and they're gonna read this together, okay? And Brian's gonna start. Ready? Okay, it's called Seedlings.
We are the seedlings of the family tree. The one that rooted in a place called Europe.
And we are here tonight to tell you, Grandma and Grandpa,
That we too are proud
Of the tree that we came from. The one you care for.
like the flowers and vegetables in your garden.
Hey guys, the one you may come alive for us.
So that we can see all of its many branches and understand how we fit in.
Knowing our tree makes us feel rooted.
And we will never feel lost.
Or alone our whole lives. As long as we remember
That we are seedlings.
Of such a big and wonderful tree. I want you to say it all together. We love you, Grandma and Grandpa. Happy anniversary. All right. Yay! We did it! Woo! Marty, this isn't easy. I'm glad you didn't get that, Gene.
Who wants to follow that? Marty, Joyce, or Bonnie? Get the lucky draw. You want to play these cards here?
You got 1 minute.
That's what we were told.
Thanks, Hardy. Karen, you're a hard act to follow, and I'm not sure that we can do it, but these are memories for Sarah and me. How could a couple so young and carefree be celebrating a 50th anniversary? But Sarah and Babe Schrag have done it indeed. So down a path of reminiscence we shall lead.
You caught each other's hearts better than Babe catches fish.
Remember the days at Lake Vermilion, how we'd hope, pray, and wish? But the haul was better at Minnetonka with Ralph Papermaster. He fillets them fast, and we dump the remains even faster.
No fish out of water, Sarah's the queen of aqua size. Her ever-presence at Northwest Pool explains her trim thighs. And when on dry land, Sarah's beating, sewing, or cooking, I bring her my knitting mistakes when nobody's looking. And there's no better shopping partner in the world than Sarah S. She'll travel the 5-state area for a sale on a designer dress. But say she's not creative, and she surely will howl. For it's ingenious what Sarah can do with some Velcro and a towel.
Now, Babe has hobbies too. For when he's not working, he's busy pickling delicious dill gherkins. And he's a devoted card shark, to say the very least. We played 17 hours of schmear en route to the Far East. And he knows how to take a tennis ball and really smack it. And he also knows to duck from Kurt's frequently flying racket.
If you want photos, Babe's your shutterbug. No matter how far, his camera equipment he will love. And of course, Babe knows that if you're thinking of tying your dog's leash to the garage door, the dog will go flying. Yes, you're terrific apart, but even better as a pair. You share a love and sense of warmth that is truly rare. You make your friends feel like they are family. You welcome all with open arms and a spirit so carefree. And even in the very house that the two of you call home, you'll find Israeli tourists stopping by just to say shalom. And so, for a couple who is truly blessed, deep to the core, the Orbachs wish you health, love, and happiness for 50 years more.
This is Eva, Marla, and Richard is going to speak. Hold on.
You were supposed to talk, Marla.
All right, let's just all watch Molly cry. This is how we used to fight a lot.
I apologize, you're just going to speak for me because Arnie says I can just come up here and cry for 2 minutes. So.
I'm afraid that Marla also has that same gene that Karen has on this CHO gene, and I put that complicated medical explanation again.
Like you don't have
Cry? Have you ever seen me cry? Please.
Your wedding.
I don't think I cried at my wedding. Anyway, this is from Marla, obviously from me too, but Marla wrote this. Mom and Dad are shocked because I usually leave the speaking in the family to Marty and Karen, but I couldn't let this occasion pass without saying a few words. Very few, apparently. Well, after much waiting and anticipation, it's finally almost over. No, I'm not talking about this 50th anniversary weekend. For those of you who already know, Richard, the girls, and I have been living with Mom and Dad for the past 6 months, 2 weeks, 4 days, 6 hours, and 35 minutes. And we are finally moving out this week. I know that not many parents would welcome their children and grandchildren into their homes like you did, with the exception, of course, of Patty and Shane. I want to publicly thank you for the gift you have given Emily, Jacqueline, and Eva of spending time with you and making memories I'm sure will last a lifetime. You two have really set an example to us and to those around you as to what it means to give of yourselves. But I hope you are able to receive tonight because everyone is here for you. And we are all here because we have a lot of love to give to you. Mom and Dad, we love you.
Bonnie? Bonnie?
Bonnie? Gary?
What?
Gary Farr? Wow. Bonnie and Gary Farr, please.
Thank you, Marty. We're going to have to stand, I apologize for our back, but I'm going to have to stand right about here because I have some gifts and stories, for just one story. They limited me to a few things, but
You gotta turn to that part too, to that side of the picture. I mean, to both sides.
when we came to the Twin Cities many years ago, Dave and Sarah, of course, as many of you know or just heard, adopted us. But the other thing that Dave did that I think I'd like to remember tonight with everybody is, you remember that Dave is really a master gardener. And so when we first came to the Twin Cities, Dave introduced me to gardening. And at the time we lived, for those of you familiar with this area, we lived in a townhome on Winnetka. And out the patio door, we had maybe a 3x5 or 5x7 area for a garden. Well, Dave had a garden, I had to have a garden. And we planted a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And as you know, Dave would grow the biggest tomatoes. And the biggest zucchini.
Going to California.
But at the time, I wanted to grow some things too. So among other things, we planted corn. But in the back of this patio home, we didn't have a lot of sun, and we didn't have very good soil, but we tried. And the corn maybe grew to whatever. And every few days, I would come home and see what we had coming out of the corn. And a disappointment. One day, I came home, and there was a big, full-grown ear of corn. And I was so excited until I went out and took a closer look. And guess who planted the corn? Well, what Dave and Sarah don't know is that I saved that corn for all these years. Bonnie has a few words.
First, we want to wish you a very, very happy anniversary. And then, if you remember, many years ago, you gave something to our family, welcoming us to the Schrack family. So tonight, we want to present you with an official plaque to welcome you to the Farr family.
Staying on that family line, Lana, Michael, and Stacy, Barb are to come up. Speaking on behalf of Becca, who's in Colorado. This one's Alana, that one's Stacy, that one's Michael.
Babe and Sarah, we wanted to make a whole list. We've got 50 reasons why we love you so much, but they did limit us. So we're going to give you the top. And as for me, I want to say that the three most memorable things that I have that we got to share with you, taking us and teaching us fishing, playing boggle, and of course, Sarah's absolutely delicious, out-of-this-world carrot cake.
And speaking on behalf of Becca, we called her this morning. Her favorite is pan-fried sunnies, washing pickles in the washing machine, and giving us real silver dollar afikoman. Mine would be number one, the pink high chair, which you can never get rid of. The second is taking me out for my birthday for lunch every year since I was 4. And the third is writing me a recommendation for nursing school.
And mine are, first one is Babe always going to all my football games. Second, always having somebody to go to White Castle with. And third, the rest of my life, my mom will thank you every day for teaching me how to burp. And as I said to you when I was 3 years old, it applies for all of us, me, Becca, Juan, and Stacy, Babe and Sarah. Now I said this when I was 3 years old to you. Babe and Sarah, you make our hearts happy.
Lynn, are you ready? Lynn? Lynn? You guys ready? Where's Robin and Bruce?
Norm and Sandy Greenbaum.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Dave and Sarah for this wonderful evening. It's not often, as was alluded to before, that our family gets together for occasions like this, for reunions. And in fact, I have to come all the way to Minneapolis to see my relatives from Los Angeles. Sarah and Dave are like a magnet to our family. We are all attracted to them. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I also want to thank Karen and Marty and Wendy and Marla and Richard for a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we prepared a little poem that we'd like to recite. To Sarah and Dave, with love on your golden anniversary. As time goes by, we leave our memories and celebrate our love and anniversaries. Sarah and Dave, 50 years we've been together, celebrating the love that is destined to last forever.
In Sioux City, you met at a wedding one time, and you got married on August 7th, 1949. With Harry, Yetta, and Lynn, you drove to LA. Were you honeymooned at Norm's parents' house? Oh, you did.
You became the finest parents and grandparents on earth, devoted to your family with every new move. Karen, Marla, and Marty make you so very proud. Richard and Wendy add such joy to the crowd. When Marissa, Brian, Jordan, Emily, Jacqueline, and Eva came along, you were thrilled with each new member of the family throne.
The first time I met Babe, knowing he was a GP, I was so surprised by what he said to me. He told me to go with him into another room to examine me. For what for? I simply answered.
As a Dr. Babe, you were greatly admired, but you are even busier now that you are retired. Tennis, fishing, gardening, and making stained glass, and reminiscing about the good old days of the past.
Sarah, you create the most beautiful artistic things. We've heard about the joy that a bead shop brings. Cooking and shopping for antiques also make your day. You could open up a shop. You never throw anything away.
Also generous with your love, companionship, and fun. Your warm hospitality is second to none. If anyone needs a place to stay from out of town, you are so invited. You never turn them down.
So good-natured and fun to be with are both of you. Your love of family and friends comes shining through. Never judgmental, very accepting, and so we always say, tell us really what the family is like anyway.
So today we wish you a wonderful 50th anniversary to both of you. As aunt, uncle, and wonderful parents, you've made many dreams come true.
Between traveling, golf, playing poker, learning the computer too, you still have time for family because it means the world to you. For all the love you've shared and all the joy you give.
May you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. To Sarah and Babe, this comes with love and admiration from Sandy,
Norm,
Greg,
Marina,
Brian,
and Ellen.
with warm congratulations.
It's my family. Her family, my family. It's our family.
I introduce you now Robin, Bruce, Lynn, and Arnie, Shira, and Lily. Here you go.
Tell them who they are, Marty. Marty, tell them who they are. Tell them who they are.
My name is Bruce Schrag. I'm related because my parents are Harry and Yetta Schrag. Lots of the Schrags, and my aunt and uncle are Sam and Patty Schrag. There's still a few around. My wife is Robin Samuels. My children are Shira Schrag and Lily Schrag. I'm sorry, Samuel Schrag and Samuel Schrag. And of course, Lynn and Arnie, my sister and brother-in-law. In the 1940s, there was a very popular musical. We were looking for something to, to taint a little song here. So, with apologies to Rodgers and Hammerstein, we'd like to do a little tune from Oklahoma. Our memories go back till we were tiny, and mine began so very long ago. The times we shared can make our eyes grow shiny.
I got to watch them all on video.
Their homes were always filled with family food and fun, White Castles or a challah freshly made. They gave the Northside tour to nearly everyone, and we still laugh at all the jokes he played. What else? What else? Everything's always great at Babe and Sarah, except when Sarah made me eat my peas. At Howard Lake we slept in the attic every night, though the rodent droppings made me ill at ease. Everything's always great at Babe and Sarah's, except when Rusty bit me, here's my scar.
We stayed 3 weeks
At their house where my mom was in LA, while Babe was making house calls. Sarah was playing with us all day. By sewing and cooking and making us puppets, she took our fears away. Oh, that's the aunt and uncle that they are. Yes, sir, that's just the kind of people that they are. Da-da-da-da-da-da, now's the time and the part where there is always dancing.
Dancing.
But choreography is not our thing. No. So we're just gonna stand here looking stupid for a while. But once again, it's time for us to sing. Nobody's better mates than Babe and Sarah, the queen of shopping and the pistol prince. Babe has every remedy or fishing lure you need, and Sarah could write a book on helpful hints. Nobody's better mates than Babe and Sarah. Retirement has just meant changing gears. Sarah's working out and has her projects left and right. Babe is staining glass and sending email every night. The whole Wishbone and their friends, they are the guiding light. We hope they have another 50 years. Mazel tov! We hope they have another 50 years.
Okay, so some people over there. Another nephew, Sid Greenbaum and gang. I don't know who's coming up with Sid. Jill, come on up.
Where's your glasses? Tell them where they are.
Sid is my mom's nephew, his wife Ruth, a niece of my mom's, Evelyn Schreier. Jill Greenbaum, Sid's daughter, and Whitman, Evelyn's daughter. Gary's not coming up? No. Gary's over there, wait Gary.
Okay, can you hear us okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hollywood, California, it's showtime! Under the sponsorship of the Academy of Relatives and Friends, who are all present, we are this evening honoring a 50-year-old production company headed by Sarah and Babe Schrag and known as the Babe and Sarah Production Company, which we will refer to in the future as the BS Production Company. First, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Sid Greenbaum, who will act as your host. And on either side of me are these two beautiful hostesses, my wife Ruth and my sister Evelyn Schreier. And acting as the presenters this evening is my daughter Jill Greenbaum and my niece Sandy Glickman. So let's get started with the ceremony. You ask yourself, how was this production company ever formed? Well, in approximately 1948, Sarah and Babe met and were quite attracted to each other. And in 1949, after a whirlwind romance, they each invested and purchased 50% of the stock in the BS Production Company, and that's how it was born. Time passed, and they decided the world was waiting for a big hit. So for months, they worked together very, very hard. But they really enjoyed it. And lo and behold, in 1954, their first extravaganza was born, and the star was named Karen. Karen, please stand up and remain standing. Thank you.
You used to be my favorite relative.
Enjoying the fruits of their labor and being so successful, they decided they were due for a second blockbuster. So they went to work again, and as in their first encounter, they certainly enjoyed working together even more so. And in 1956, the second star was unveiled, and her name was Marla. Marla, please stand up and remain standing.
Didn't it used to be your favorite relative?
If you can. Now, knowing how much they enjoyed working together, They thought, can the company produce one more smash hit? So back to work it was. And in 1959, the third star made his debut, and his name was Marty. Marty, please stand up and remain standing.
Outshining the prior two stars.
The company then decided that it was time to have distributors who could produce hits that were as equal to theirs. So they conferred with Marty, who at the time had met Wendy, a beautiful young lady here in Minneapolis. Wendy, please stand up and remain standing. Marty and Wendy were so attracted to each other, and since the parents had such a successful production company, they too merged and went right to work. And they had 3 stars of their own, Marissa, Jory, and Brian. Children, please stand up and remain standing. Please. At this point, the BS company decided one distributor was not sufficient. So they had a chat with Marla, who had just met a handsome young attorney from New York named Richard. Richard, please stand up and remain standing. Now, Marla and Richard decided what's good for the rest of the family is even better for us. So they went to work and organizing their production company and putting their heads together, they and formed the fruits of their love. 3 stars emerged: Emily, Jacqueline, and Eva. Children, please stand up. And remain standing. Now, Sarah and Babe, standing before you are the major results of your 50-year-old production company. And seated are the minor results of relatives and friends, and of those not with us but in spirit, whose lives you have touched. Because of your endless devotion of caring, of giving, of helping, and most of all, your deep love for each other, and for all of us, and for all of humanity. Please come forward, escorted by Jill and Sandy, and receive your Oscars. Fellow relatives and friends, I give you the 2 principals of the best 50-year-old production company on the planet, Babe and Sarah Schreck.
I'm going to call on Scott Schreck, another godson, who probably my godbrother.
Marty asked me to be brief, but apparently my concept of brief and everybody else's is a little different. He asked me just to relate one story. So I first met Babe and Sarah about 36 years ago. I knew from the start that they were meant to be together. They came to see me at the hospital, and simultaneously they said, "That is the cutest baby I've ever seen." I knew with that kind of chemistry, that kind of master of the obvious, this was a relationship that was meant to be. Marty asked me to be brief and just asked me to tell one of my favorite stories. Oh sure, there's been a lot of great memories since then, but that's the one that stands out the most in my mind. So on behalf of their goddaughter-in-law Jody, their godpuppy Bagheera, and myself, I wish Babe and Sarah's future is as special to them as they've made me feel for the past 36 years. Okay.
As has been said before, there are quite a few out-of-towners who have made this weekend better by their presence. But I want to say a few words about visiting Minneapolis again in the not-so-distant future. Alan David Letterman, I have in my hand a list of the top 5 reasons why it's better to visit Minneapolis in February than it is in August. Number 5, your glasses don't steam up when you come out of an ice cream store. Number 4, it's easier to make snow angels than sand angels. Warm interior of cars are a place to warm up in February, better than a burn from the seat buckle in summer. Number 2, there are no mosquitoes in February. And the number 1 reason why it's better to visit Minneapolis in February than in August is my daughter Marissa's bar mitzvah, and you're all invited. At the end of the ceremony of Jewish weddings, there is a time for reflection when we are reminded of sad times even amongst the very best of times. The ceremony is the breaking of the glass, followed by a hearty mazel tov. Mom and Dad, come up here, please. For your anniversary present, we are going to recreate that ceremony for those of us who weren't there 50 years ago, me included. Then your children and grandchildren are going to have the broken piece of glass made into a mezuzah for you. For those of you who don't know, Sarah collects goblets, and will probably not want to break this. Thankfully, they able with the glass, so we'll probably want to put it together. Let's work out there. When I put these down before you, if you guys will say I do, there's 2 glasses, one for each of you to step on and break together. Say I do. You may then kiss the bride and okay, do the rest. Back up. One for each of you. Break. Keep breaking.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Mazel
Look at the pictures. Dessert is out. Coffee will be served. And Billy is in charge of taking pictures, so we're going to start taking some family pictures. So nobody can leave as far as family and friends. Thank you for putting up with us tonight and putting up with our car family. We're very glad you guys can be here. Sarah's family to the outside for, to the outer room for